How's it going, crazy koalas, and welcome back to the channel. Yes, similar setting, we are doing another deck upgrade. Yes, we are back with the 10 in 10 out series. Today we are doing Zapdos. It's the Zapdos EX Deluxe battle deck. It is the sister to, or the brother to, the Ninetales deck, and we are going to put them head to head, but I'm getting ahead of myself. We're going to upgrade the video, same rules apply, 10 cards in, 10 cards out. But before we get there, here's a message from our proud sponsors.
This video is sponsored by Solarpop, South Africa's premier importer of board games and toys and TCGs. Go check out their socials in the description below. Solarpop, go play.
Righto, so before we get into the nitty gritty of the deck, we need to discuss what this Zapdos EX does. So Zapdos EX has got its ability that has Voltaic Float. If this Pokemon has any electric energies attached to it, it has no retreat. For 3 lightning energies, it does multi-shot lightning for 120, and it does 90 damage to one of your opponent's bench Pokemon that already has damage counters on it. Luckily for us, the deck came with a sidekick, and none other than Kick. We've got Hawlucha. And the most important part of Hawlucha is his flying entry ability. When you play this card from your hand onto your bench during your turn, you may choose 2 of your opponent's bench Pokemon and put 1 damage counter on each of them. So we're going to spread a little bit of damage and then snipe a bit of damage and do some big damage and try and set up multi-price turns. So let's talk about what we put in the deck and what we take out. Right, so like we did in the last video, let's discuss a little bit about the 10 cards that we are putting in. So in this list, I kept the 10 cards relatively straightforward. We want the deck to be a little bit more consistent at the end of the day. We're not looking to reinvent the wheel here, but we want to try and get the most we can out of this deck. So to start off with, we only got 2 Zapdos EX in the starting lineup, so we have to definitely put in another Zapdos EX. Outside of the Zapdos EX, the deck came with 1 Miraidon EX, and it's a good tutor card, so we definitely need to slap another one in just for its tandem unit, and it's a great backup attacker. Speaking about great backup attackers, a Raikou V was a awesome add. We're going to be filling up bench naturally, so we might as well throw in a Raikou V just to keep the synergy of the deck going at the end of the day. When we're speaking about the synergy, right, we are speaking about damage spread. So enter Radiant Alakazam, our first Radiant that we're adding in the 10 in 10 out series, and it's all for painful spoons. Once during your turn, you may move up to 2 damage counters from one of your opponent's Pokemon to another. So if Hawlucha doesn't come down in time, Radiant Alakazam can spread that damage around and guarantee some multi-price turns. From the support perspective, we are throwing in 2 Iono just for a bit of hand disruption. The deck came with 3 copies of Electric Generator, so we're putting in a 4th. We are putting in another Ultra Ball, and because of the fact that we have got Hawlucha, we've got Alakazam, we've got cards that require a little bit of switching power, we've thrown in a switch, and Gust / switch effects are very good. So enter our first of many aspects in the 10 in 10 out series. We are putting in a Prime Catcher. Excuse the proxy, the Prime Catcher is in my actual deck, but they are the 10 cards that we're putting in, and let's have a look and see what the final deck list looks like. Right, so let's kick things off with the Pokemon in our deck. We have got 3 copies of Zapdos EX, we have 3 copies of his buddy Hawlucha, we then have 2 copies of Miraidon EX, and then we've got 2 copies of Pawmi, 2 copies of Pawmo, and 2 copies of Pawmot. Pawmot came in the deck with Electric Genesis. Once during your turn, you must search your deck for an electric energy card and attach it to him. And for 3 energies, discard all energies from this Pokemon for 230. He's got free retreat. He's a good pivoter. We've got the Raikou and the Radiant Alakazam, and that's what the Pokemon look like in the deck. Onto trainer cards, consistency is definitely key in a deck like this. So we've slapped in 3 Professor's Research, 3 Ryme, and 2 Youngster for supporters, 2 Iono that we added in, and 1 Boss's Order for that gusting effect. We've got 4 copies of Nest Ball. We then also have 4 copies of Ultra Ball. The namesake for electric decks, we've got 4 copies of Electric Generator. The deck came with 2 copies of Earthen Vessel, and then we have a copy of Super Rod, 2 copies of Switch. We then have our A-Spec, which is the Prime Catcher, and 3 copies of Bravery Charm, because Bravery Charms are the staple tool when it comes to Miraidon for some reason, so it came in the deck. As for the energy count, we have 3, 6, 9, 12 lightning energies, just like we had in the Ninetales video, 12 energies. But energies are important when we are playing Electric Generator. It was a bit of a toss-up whether to cut out an energy or a Earthen Vessel, and I guess time will tell if we made the right decision. Right, on to what we cut out. Since the series is 10 in, 10 out, this is what didn't make the cut. We have 1 lightning energy, we have 2 copies of Rika, a little bit of a lackluster supporter. We took out the copies of Jacques because Jacques only gets Pawmot and Pawmi, I think that's the stage 1, so not really used for much. 1 copy of Youngster, 2 copies of Pawmi and a copy of Pawmo, obviously Pawmo coming out, so we dropped the Jacques, and then 1 Bravery Charm just because we were running out of space. But there are the 10 cards that we are cutting out. And there you have it, quick, sweet, simple, to the point. The whole idea of the deck is to get damage spread around and have Zapdos come in and just clean house with Miraidon and Raikou as a backup attacker, and hoping that we hit those electric generators to hit big damage. I think the deck could be quite a force to be reckoned with. So you now have your Zapdos EX deck if you followed this guide. Big shout out to SolarPop for sponsoring the content. You can find their socials in the description below. And we'll be putting this on Twitch, head to head against the Ninetales. If you haven't seen that video, check the link above here. You can go watch that video now, and you make your decision. You tell me which deck you think is going to perform better. I can't pick. So, although I do love Ninetales. But anyway, let's see which deck does better. If you guys want to grab this deck off the shelf, go and do that now. The total cost for upgrades in this video was a little bit higher. You can find it somewhere here. And I think that's purely due to the fact that we put in a Prime Catcher. If we had dropped the Prime Catcher to put in something like a Counter Catcher, we would have dropped that budget down easily by $20. So if you're looking for a cheaper alternative, you can always cut the Prime Catcher and get yourself a Counter Catcher, which is only about $2 at the moment. Thank you for watching the video. Check out all my socials. Check out facebook.com/KahunaKoala, Instagram @KahunaKoala, twitch.tv/KahunaKoala, where we will be going live with these decks as well. So make sure you go hit that follow on Twitch. And then for those lucky few who are Patreons, go check out patreon.com/KahunaKoala. $5 a month or $8, depending on what your tier is, you can become a Patreon and go into a quarterly lucky draw to win a prize at the value of 3,600 Rand or more, sponsored by SolarPop. Guys, thank you so much for watching. If you stayed till the end of the video, I appreciate all of your support, and keep an eye out on my socials for when we're going to go live with these decks head to head. 10 in, 10 out is done. I've done my job. Now you go do yours. Hit that like, subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next video. Cheers.
I would like to give a shout out to all of my Patreons. Without you guys, none of this would be possible. No matter what the tier is, no matter how long you've been a Patreon for, I appreciate you.